Number one. Number two, there was a post that went out, which I am sure a lot of people that listen to Bricks, Bucks, and Bytes will be familiar with, about Procore's AI agent announcement, which we also discussed last week on Bricks, Bucks, and Bytes, which claims to be the death of other startups like DataGrid and Trunk Tools, and we will be having Tiago, CEO, founder of DataGrid, on to discuss that with us in a few moments. Then we will have William St. Pierre from Mechasys, who are building Projected XR, which I think is very interesting. People will be have fun learning about that. And then Dimitri from Handoff, who will talk to us about the more AI agents and what they are building over there. So, and then I think we will round up. I think that will be enough for today.
So before that, what's the latest on our viewership for Goldberg video?
Well, you know, we did pretty well. We got up to 740K on YouTube alone. I have not done the full metric count across all the other platforms, so that would be roughly around about that figure.
Throw $1,000 at it, you can cross the million.
Yeah, I think that should be like there's like some weight that comes with crossing the million view mark, right?
Life goals.
Life goals, yeah.
It's all about the vanity metrics.
All about is that at the point where you get one of those trophies that you can put in the background with like YouTube gold plate on it?
Yeah, that's what I always got at the sports festivals in high school.
Participation trophy.
Come on.
You didn't bring them with you, Patrick. I have never seen them in the background of you.
Yeah, well, you know, vanity comes and goes.
Changes as you age. Oh yeah, so it's doing well. It's doing well. We will keep looking at that. So when before we get to this controversial post, shall we look at another? Hey, can we label this one as controversial? Should founders be asking investors, i.e. Patrick, about whether the VC has an idea of what they should found their business around? What should be the product? Patrick, do you want to maybe go through the...
Okay, so I just want to make sure we're not butchering my statement. So let me just make sure we're capturing it how I mean it. So I'm strictly speaking in that post about outlier businesses. So if you want to be the peak magnitude of the distribution curve of startups, then you cannot ask anyone else, including investors, hey, can you please give me an idea what that should be? Because that intersection, in my experience, almost does not exist. Any outlier business that I have ever been somehow affiliated with, part of, etc., was started from a place of hard-earned insight, sometimes unusual or insight earned in unusual ways, hard experiences, sometimes many years, and at some point they culminate into the understanding of a market or technology's impact on a market that then allowed you to found something on the basis of very non-obvious insights, very quirky convictions, etc. And if you go to an investor or anyone else, hey, what should that idea be to build an outlier? You're already in the wrong part of the Venn diagram, so that won't work. Yeah. So just want to make sure we're getting that context right. Of course, you can talk to people about what idea should I pursue. I mean, everybody starts with communication as well. Nobody finds an idea, or at least not an idea worth pursuing by doing ChatGPT research. But it's about the outlier part here.
Yeah. Why do they need investors now if there's ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to ask.
Yeah. No, but I think you guys
haven't already.
You guys have a lot of. You guys have a lot of. You've done a lot of repetition with different business types and models, and I think if someone is quite smart, then they can engage your thoughts on certain things and to take some conclusions. But asking for outliers would be pretty dumb.
It's just like if a VC had such a unique insight on that business, it would almost be a compelling enough reason to leave their job to almost want to pursue it, because those things are so special and so rare that why would you not take an opportunity? I mean, my dream would be to have a unicorn company, and if I had this unique insight that I was like, no, this is going to be it, I would do it. Well, I think Edify is going to be it, but I mean, people ask me all the time, why am I working? Well, I think Edify is very special, but like it's also like, look, VC's job is to actually observe an entire market and have the market show them what the next unicorn is going to
Correct.
be, and then provide them the capital so that they can go realize that dream. And that's not their job, is to come up with ideas. All they can do is provide you insights on, what they're seeing, but origination of a truly like creative idea, and there's very few like truly creative ideas anymore. It's coming up with a unique strategy or repackaging or go to market or some combination of all those things that allow someone to go out and just completely take over, where there's competition everywhere. So like no one has that formula. ChatGPT might get there. But, waiting for AGI for that.
I'm going to take a little bit of a hot take on this. I'm a little bit disappointed, given how charismatic, smart, and intuitive VCs are, that they actually don't know what the next outlier is. I think they should.
Okay, let me defend.
What is that wrong?
All the time. So that anyway is, at least for the early stage crowd of investors, there's a good portion of being wrong to it. I think we can all say that just with certainty by now. But Owen, I think that's that's disregarding where the actual truth lies, right? So the truth always lies with the customer, and so a VC only gets to spend time with customers if they repeat a lot in the exact same part of the market. I mean, just take construction, right? So I've probably talked to, I don't know, random number, arbitrary, 60% of the types of customers under the sun, but I'm pretty sure there are types of customers I have never talked to. And then have I talked to the same type of customer 100 times in the last year? Absolutely not. That does not happen, right? But as a founder, you do. Because that's actually where the truth is, where the primary information comes, and all these quirks and nuances and details. And then you can educate an investor, and that if that investor has a lot of repetition, they can quicker get it. They can make certain connectivity about it. They can give you certain input about an aspect of it, like Dustin said, perhaps go to market, and there's something that has worked in an adjacent space that might work here. But no, I don't think that's how it works. You literally need to dedicate to collect primary information with customers, suppliers, like key market stakeholders, to find these quirks that actually enable your unique take.
Yeah, when I was on a conference recently, it was more about architectural founders. So there was a panel, and VC were asked, where should architectural founders start? In which areas within architecture should be funding companies? Which felt very bizarre, actually, hearing this, because that would place VC in the position of above the founders, because they know better, and also of the capital providers, which effectively they are.
Well, this has other ramifications, because people ask all the time, well, why doesn't like big corporation ever innovate from within? And it's because they're not structured in that way to like really do a full self-assessment of themselves, what's working, what's not, to do any sort of readjustment of their current plan, and then to look at a new market for them and come up with a truly innovative insight that's going to affect many customers. It's just not structurally what they're prepared to do. So that's why you see a lot of large companies, and especially in construction tech, we can think of a lot of them, they really focus on their core products. And when they try to get outside of that, they try to like, oh, you know what, we're going to go into this thing where we have never done it before and do it on our own, there has been some really poor results, because they can't get the talent that's going to go in there and be like, this is mine now, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to come into it, and like everything's on the table for how I'm going to build the world's greatest A or X or whatever it's going to be. Rather, they're going to say, hey, we're going to talk to customers, and of course they're going to talk to a subset, not the entire market like a founder would probably do, and they're going to build it for their enterprise customers and listening to exactly their specifications. They're going to realize they build a product that works for 5 customers and doesn't work for an entire market, and it's kind of clunky. So,
Yeah, I think that's my intuition says that it would work if the founder was a CEO in this large company. She could probably come up with a next product and dive in the niche and win it. But if it's that's again my intuition. If it's like a hired CEO, most likely that would be a failure.
I would agree with your statement, Martin. I would agree. And actually, funnily, almost no hired CEO actually knows the product of their business, is my observation over the entirety of my almost 2 decades of a business career. I can think of so many examples of public CEOs of publicly listed companies that actually do not know the details of their product. They couldn't even sell the product to a customer.
I will share a story. Sure. I can tell you that many sales reps at large companies do not know how the products of their own company work that they sell.
Nice.
One of my roles was helping people understand what products do. A very large company. It's amazing to be an enterprise sales rep and you cannot demo your own products.
How do they stay afloat then?
They have product
Brand.
specialists. Brand.
So they are just sell, and there's someone else who's doing the technical.
They're relationship managers. Ask them to demo their entire portfolio, not a chance. Zero.
Yeah, I think let's move on to the next subject. Thiago will be joining us in a sec, but before he comes, as I'll wait for him before we dive into this. Have any of you guys tried out the new Atlas browser from OpenAI?
No.
It's funny.
So-
I was thinking of tinkering with it, but I just didn't have time before this call.
Owen, have you?
No, I have not. I did not ask because I wanted you to ask me, but what I found fascinating was it wiped something like 300 billion off of Google's market cap, which is like quite crazy to think about, really, because I don't know, but I don't know many people that are not using Chrome in their browser, and I'm pretty damn sure it'll be easy for Google just to release some AI that is probably better than OpenAI's AI, which just is then embedded within the browser, which in and of itself will be a better product, or should be a better product than what Atlas is. So I think that I will probably just sit back and wait for Chrome to do their thing, and then I will use the Google's version. And maybe people that listen to this also know that I quite like Google's AI product, so I'm becoming a bit of a fanboy to them.
Text or video?
Text. I haven't not tinkered with the video stuff.
Okay.
Actually, where my mind went is, and I want to understand the technology a little better, but depending on how the technology works, I'm curious if that eventually the browser will provide almost a ChatGPT function onside any web application that you're viewing in the browser. And so that actually has huge implications for application developing. Because if the web browser natively has like ChatGPT and you're rendering and you're sending data to the browser, then ChatGPT is already available for you to ask it questions about what's going on in your application.
I haven't tried it, but I'm very certain that's exactly what's part of that browser. I mean, I'm a user of the Arc browser. I'm a user of the Arc browser for 2 years. Unfortunately, they're deprecating the product because the browser company is focusing on a different product. But the Arc browser that had it built in. So the Arc browser, when I hit Command F, it doesn't allow you to search the site. It allows you to actually interact with the site. So I'm very certain what you're proposing is what they're doing.
Can you see the ramifications of that? Like every browser, essentially, the more data you feed it to the browser, then their language model is actually your own chat engine for it. And it can be agentic for it.
Browser is a bathtub. It holds the information and it allows you to interact with the information.
But
so I'm more excited about that ramification and understanding where that's going then.
Is it because I use Google quite a lot for everything, and on Safari, for example, as I open right now, I've got this Google account, and I basically in the browser, Safari browser, there is a AI mode from my Google account. So why would you need a browser that does all of this if people already have probably millions, hundreds of millions of Google accounts or
for travel bookings. Have you noticed how all the like launch videos are related to booking travel? I don't know why, but it seems to be the common example. Like they're all like demo booking travel. What is that?
You
the
just
only
have
thing
to
it
have
can
a
do?
sister. That's what I do with mine.
Well, book me.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I think
you
we
don't
just
need
lost the one
AI.
female viewer. Oh my God.
Oh, I didn't mean it this way.
So I can give you an example, Martin, right? So, and I'm going to describe the majority of the cases. So don't at me saying, yes, but you could also solve it in a workaround way, etc. I'm going to describe the majority. So can you interact with what's rendered on this one page if you have an overlay or a plugin? Yes. So that's what you are describing, right? Is your Google extension that you have on top of Safari. But what if you actually want multiple web pages and multiple tabs to interact with each other? That happens on the browser level.
Got it.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, but that's like a next level, huh? That's interesting. I've not thought about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to be diving into over the next couple of weeks. I want to see how far away some of this is to being able to just augment any sort of web application.
Yeah. And I think the browser wars are on, right? I mean, so there's the browser
Yeah.
company. I think they were backed by Excel at some point. I don't want to say something wrong. I have to double check it. So please double check me. Strawberry out of Sweden just got a relatively large seed round and they are immediately doing these bombastic claims of we're killing OpenAI's browser. I guess everybody has to make like bombastic statements today in order to catch attention. So the race is on.
So taking this,
I just think it's
Perplexity?
actually the death of desktop applications, not to put a plug in.
so taking this browser concept into construction, so I would love to have something that I have architectural drawings open, engineering drawings open, emails open with the client or other.
It will make
people.
integrating into other applications almost not. It could essentially eliminate having to do API to API integrations from one application to another. Any data you'd just be able to have the language models pull.
Yeah, mine. You're right though. I think that you could have like all of the like project documents
Sources.
open. On your maybe desktop or browser, or whatever, and you're able to interact to know exactly.
And ask questions and get good answers.
Yeah. Shall we go on to the subject, hard truths from Procore Groundbreak? I think Tiago maybe got sidetracked. Let's have a look. I'll share screen so people can see. Let's do this. So hard truths from Procore Groundbreak 2025. So first off, well done, Arvin, for like getting the attention of the entire construction technology ecosystem.
Entire.
Like pretty much, or a large segment of it, because we spoke about this, and lots of other people have been messaging me about this in reaction to your post here. So, just to headline it, what you are saying is that companies like Trunk Tools and DataGrid could be in major trouble with Procore's AI agent announcement. And you give some advice about what startups should do, and that goes beyond building wrappers on topics like Procore or Autodesk data, and actually looking at how they acquire their own sets of data to use their AI on top of. So, you three have all read this post. What are your initial reactions? And we will include this post within the show notes so people are able to dive in and give their own opinions on it. And maybe we can go through a few of the comments as well, because there were some interesting comments to look at specifically on this post.
Well,
I thought it was
first.
I thought it was so. First of all, I thought just from a content, PR, distribution perspective, I thought this was well done. Yeah, and personally, I thought of course, that's also the job of the CEO, of the founder, is getting attraction for your business. Hopefully, always in a classy and substantiated way. I thought this was still within that, but perhaps also it was making a few assumptions. That was my comment there, and I was just with my comment also just trying to point out, hey, there are things none of us know unless you're part of that organization. And it sounded maybe a little bit too much like, okay, I know that Procore is going to win because A, and for that reason, I can be certain that these other companies that I'm mentioning cannot win. I wanted it a bit more differentiated, but overall, I thought it was a very smart and good content piece.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is true or not, but I've heard that Trunk Tools was not allowed to speak about their product on the conference, which means something in terms of Procore trying to kill other startups who are doing the same thing.
I think that's a lot to infer, though, because DataGrid, then you would think they would have locked out DataGrid. DataGrid had a huge booth. So there's a unique thing going on between Trunk Tools and Procore. I don't know what that is, but DataGrid doing very well. And they were allowed to present, and they're building agents that will directly compete with the agents that Procore mentioned. And so I don't know what the unique situation is there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's maybe talk about Arvind's thesis here.
Yeah.
So Arvind's thesis, and he's making the Teams comparison, Teams versus Slack. So just for context, right? And I think there is a historical context here. So Slack was a darling, apart from how it originated and how difficult its first 2 years was, etc. After Slack had actually found the product that they wanted to market, which is the collaboration, let's say, chat-like workspace, etc. It was a big darling and going very, very fast. Was it actually at some point, Dustin, the fastest to X million in ARR or X 100 million of users?
It was.
That?
It was 100 million in ARR. They were the fastest before all these AI models.
Yeah, and then Arvind is pointing out or reminding us that, hey, all of that happened until Microsoft released Teams, and then it overtook. Now, it overtook also with a completely different user base. So it was not like, I don't think the point here is that Teams stole a lot of Slack users. I'm sure there were some blah, 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 but by and large, it literally attacked a different user group, which is the teams within large corporates that already run on Microsoft and SAP and other legacy systems. So it's a good reminder of history. And his thesis here seems to be, okay, because Procore has this huge installed base, once it releases these features, it will be at a huge distribution advantage and a fast pickup. I agree with the distribution advantage. I'm not sure I agree with the fast pickup.
Is the feature a product? Maybe not necessarily.
Well,
is it doing exactly the same thing what DataGrid product does? Maybe not necessarily. Is it that good? I don't know.
So I first want to touch on the Slack Teams comparison. So another very material event occurred before Microsoft really took over with Teams, and that was Slack was acquired by Salesforce.
Yeah.
And whether or not it had a material impact, which I think it probably did. Number two, COVID, or several very important, COVID happened, and primary use case for Teams was not chat. It was actually video conferencing, and it was either choose Zoom or choose Teams, and Microsoft was able to push Teams. I find there's still a credible amount of Slack overlay with Teams, and a lot of people don't like the Teams communication hub. However, there is a great example of Microsoft being this behemoth and can shove anything down any corporate America because they have an enterprise contract with every single corporation. So I think that Microsoft is also an insane outlier with the ability to do virtually anything they want. So there are some parallels. In terms of both Trunk Tools and DataGrid, I feel like have slightly different models, although I think Trunk Tools is less transparent. So with DataGrid, they will build custom agents based upon the individual user's preference. And then Procore was announcing, we'll help you build your own agents. So I'm less familiar with what trunk tools use cases are. I think they're trying to build generalized tools that they think anyone can use. But I think most importantly, and this is where, and we should ask Tiago, because I do think that AI only wrappers are going to struggle because they're not where the data is being generated in the enterprise applications. Those enterprise applications will have the ability to continue to erode whatever value the wrappers initially create. And so the wrappers need to figure out how they can actually help people generate content or data that then they can marry with the workforce tools if they want to stay viable.
Nice. I think that there's one important point here as well, which to respond to Arvin is his post assumes that everyone's entire organizational data is on Procore, and that
Right.
data grid and trunk tools are only building an agent layer on top of Procore. As far as I know, data grid, I don't know about trunk tools, but they are integrating with various other systems that also operate, not just Procore. So it's about building agents that are able to talk to each of those systems and then pull insights, do whatever agents do on top of that. And to that also assumes that Procore then not going to go out and build their own. I mean, maybe not. I don't know like how possible this is or whether Procore would do it, but then do they at a later stage also say, right now we can also build agents which talk across Procore and all of your other ERP communication systems, so on and so forth. I don't know.
And that's one of the. Oh, go ahead.
Dutch. Oh, the last tidbit is no one's actually unpackaged how much is still in development versus vaporware. I've been at many Procore announcements, and I'll give you an exact thing. Like 4 or 5 years ago, they did an announcement, maybe it was 6 years ago, about Procore talking to Procore. What that meant was if you sent an RFI, it would go into from Procore, it would go into someone else's RFI, and you could be able to review it. You wouldn't have to put it into your RFI management. Or submittal to submittal. At this conference, they were just talking about how they just are enabling submittal talking to submittal in Procore. So they started saying Procore talking to Procore 6 years ago, and they were just had a follow-up that finally submittals are going to talk to each other. So where this actually is, we don't know. It's true. We don't know.
Marketing.
Yeah, that's the bunch of assumptions here.
Yeah. Should we go through some of the comments quickly? I think shout out to Scott. He says rests on two seminal. So Arvin's argument rests on two seminal assumptions. One, Procore has such dominant market share that they control the market, and two, construction is a homogeneous industry like enterprise software, such that it's easy for one vendor to dominate. There are many people who would argue that neither one is true. Agree?
I agree. My confirmation bias kicks in, so we should absolutely have Scott on the show again.
Yeah, we will get Scott back.
He's great.
One of the best. Christian, companies should build hardware too. Yeah. I had a great chat with Christian earlier this week, so I'm back in that. Oh,
Best jobs, man.
Let's go Tracy's argument
Tracy.
because Tracy's very insightful into these things. Okay, I'll read it. Totally agree that Procore, Autodesk, and the legacy database-driven form-filling solutions are well positioned for the AI era. That said, we're only a seconds into the enterprise AI transformation. Declaring a vertical AI winner today would be like naming the mobile cloud champion in 2007, a few days after the iPhone was introduced. In brackets, the PlanGrid founders are barely out of college at that point. My guess is that the strategic conversations inside these companies right now aren't about building AI agents, but whether they should lock down their data. But no one wants vendor lock-in. At least I don't. Salesforce already test and wrote the playbook. Most traditional industries will likely follow. Embrace openness, charge for API access, monetize the ecosystem, and push customers to the enterprise tier for unlimited access. Very nice.
Spot on.
Yeah. Let's see what Alain from Alain from CTO from Bureau Happold. I mean, it's a big one, but maybe I can try and paraphrase it on the fly. A startup which wraps the technology is non-defensible. This eliminates 80% of AI startups. Apparently, there are around 1,400 to 1,700, I think Stepan replied, startup solutions that exist in his AI catalog. Non-defensible means here today, gone tomorrow. Point one.
Yeah, but is
Point
the
two.
agent equals the agent? I don't think so, actually. I don't think that Procore or anyone like straight away can spin a product which will be doing exactly or even better than perhaps TrunkTool or DataGrid. That's just oversimplification.
Mm-hmm. Number two, Procore has a lot of data and many customers. However, they do not have that many or that much when it comes to the AEC ecosystem. The AI platform play is a bold move, but cannot work if they and their competitors remain a silo. As buyers beware, don't create yet another silo, agent silo.
I have a question on this one because I do not know the answer. But does Procore have a lot of data? I mean, it seems intuitive, right? But their entire stack is from 2004, and we've talked about the instances that you have to go through if you're a subcontractor and logging into different instances, different workspaces, call it like that, etc. So having a lot of data is not the same as the ability to activate a lot of data. Do you guys have an opinion on whether Procore can actually activate that data given their stack, etc.?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They've been working on this for years and years and years. This is like,
What does it mean, activate the data in this
Yeah,
sense?
you might have stored it in some database, but actually to
To use it in a way,
exactly
actionable way.
to operate on that data, to use it because it's sort of distributed, disjunct, disconnected, messy. Again, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm asking whether that is the case.
I don't know. Maybe analogy with BIM, for example. BIM has been with us for 30 years, and why has it not progressed? Because the way it was built, I guess it's not greatest right now. So that's why it's clunky, difficult to do something. It takes 10,000 hours to learn how to do it well in current software stack. So I probably would agree with you that it's all very old, and how can you connect the pieces right now with the old data on the old stack?
I'm just not sure. I don't know.
they have a lot more than anyone else. They're able to ingest all the specifications. They have all the financials. Part of Procore talking to Procore is about structuring their information to standardize it between accounts. And if they've been working on that for years, which they've announced they've been working on that for years, they're building the infrastructure to be able to leverage the amount of information. But it's not to where it needs to be or where it could be. They're on a journey. That journey is long.
Okay, point three. Market power does pay dividends. Literally, Oracle and Autodesk and Procore vendor lock-in pays dividends to their shareholders, less so to their clients. AI might create the conditions for a platform as a service, is that a PaaS transition, and lock-in before jumping into a cloud SaaS solution or PaaS solution. Always think of how you will come out. Very good. Patrick, here he is. I know this person.
Let's grill that one.
No, that was my point that I was coming in with, right? So it's just saying, hey, I think making these kinds of statements is making a ton of assumptions and articulating them as knowing. And I just want to call that out. That is not what we should do. Yeah.
That's how you make your name in current internet environment, LinkedIn environment.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and I think the picture was up here was like very attention.
I mean, I had to laugh that nobody actually commented on the choice of map in this picture and how it actually does not correlate with the message. Does anyone recognize this map?
Holy shit!
Is this Germany right here?
Yeah, that is southern Germany and Switzerland, and then TrunkTools he places into Belarus. So I thought that was a funny.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's very bad of him.
I wonder if it's intentional.
That you point that out.
It's funny.
I wanted to bring up, I actually spoke with Tracy this week, and It's so interesting because we've known each other a very, very long time. We were actually at the same construction firm, and then we both had our paths as entrepreneurs. And then we, ended up at Autodesk at the same time, and we were never like really close. And lately, we've become a lot closer. And just want to say she's an amazing individual, her and Ralph. So it's good to see her taking still some active approaches in construction tech. Uh, I think that eventually they'll find their way back, but yeah, I'm glad she's still chiming in. It's good to
Yeah,
see her having opinions on the space.
I also love Tracy's posts on LinkedIn. They're always very fruitful about like building companies and the way she thinks about things. So
She has
I
an
always
opinion,
enjoy
that's
reading
for
them.
sure.
Yeah, they're good. Do we agree with these points here? On the last point on this, there's 4 bullet points here. What startup should do now? Numero uno, novel data collection methods, not just passing existing documents. Agree?
Bit abstract. In on that abstract sense, I can agree that that would be something that would pique my interest. Let's say it like that. But without a, let's say, direct business connection, it's hard for me to agree or disagree with this. It seems, let's say, yep, that would pique my interest.
Proprietary data sets that incumbents can't replicate.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Defensible technical moats beyond conversational interfaces. I mean,
Yes, but the but here is that what exactly is that in your business? So this is probably correctly said, but this might be the hardest to pull off currently.
and workflows that don't rely on being the smart layer over someone else's platform.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Dustin, what do you think?
I mean, they just resonate with everything that I was. It's just rephrasing some of the stuff I've brought up several times. I agree with all this. The defensibility issue is actually quite challenging in construction tech these days, because technology can be replicated faster than ever before, and people don't understand that. Like one of the things that made building
Yeah, man,
connected
just go
very
on Lovable and type in a few prompts and
well, this is where people need to
away we
start
go.
looking at like AI agents don't inherently have a lot of network effects. Like people need to worry about some network effects because construction gives you the ability to build software that's highly collaborative, and like a lot of these agents are very insulary to yourself or at very best your organization. So I would think about how these new companies can improve collaboration, communication, so that you're not just locking in that business, you're locking in that business and all the network of companies that they're corresponding with.
I think your
I don't think
mention of the word network and collaboration just made Martin drop. He was too scared that we might ask him.
No.
It was collaboration. Okay, we have William, who's about to join us. Bear with me, let me just pull this document up. Okay, let's do it. Hey, William.
Hey there.
Hey, Will.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah, how are you?
Pretty good. How about
Good?
yourself, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
whereabouts
there's
are
a small
you?
delay, maybe.
Yeah, no stress. We're live, so inevitable. Whereabouts are you based?
Montreal, Canada.
Beautiful.
You've been
Cool,
to
all right,
Montreal,
William.
Patrick, or?
Not specifically Montreal, but Canada is my second most favorite place on earth. I won't tell you what
Oh,
the first
that's
one
it?
is, but very, very, very high on my list. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you're
Where-
always welcome to come.
Where's the first one?
We'll take that offline.
Germany.
No, it's not Germany. It's not Germany. Germany is okay. It's not Germany.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, so William, yeah, so you guys recently, I think the last few months announced your Series A, $25 million. Yeah, tell us a little bit about Mechasys.
Yeah, so at Mechasys we build laser projectors that displays construction plans true to scale with millimetric accuracy onto any construction projects.
So you're is there a specific like what's the use? Is it for like layout or
Yeah,
helping
exactly.
to
So basically,
okay.
we're solving the challenge of layout using traditional methods, using pencils, tape measures, or even as well total stations. So we're able to position a device in a very simple way using either control points, control lines, or artifact or any entities that exist from the environment very quickly within 3 to 5 minutes. And then we're able to display all the information, line, point, text, curves, that you have into your CAD file and display them into the ceiling, the walls, or the floors of your project. And then construction workers can build directly off that and then proceed. So yeah, overall, increasing the speed of construction, simplifying the work as well, and increasing
Wow.
quality overall.
Wow. So once you have a reference point in a in geospace, you can just lay it out.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's pretty simple. You need to have a reference that you can attach to. You can
Yeah.
position the machine anywhere on site. Then once you have that, I would say XYZ coordinates of the projector, then you can just project. One thing that is also interesting is, from the CAD file, usually the Z always equals 0, right? But in the reality, the floor is unflat.
Undulating.
Yeah, exactly. So we with the projector, basically, we're able to perform a 3D point cloud of the environment, compensate, so read those data and compensate the architectural files or the CAD files, and then add the projection, bring the accuracy into the system. But we can
Oh,
also
that's smart.
revalue this data onto our cloud platform as well, and give it to our customers.
Can you do the reverse and document like as built in the field? Like use a laser to document like existing conditions where it's refracting and you're collecting the data?
So we do it at the source. And let me explain. So we are able to generate the as built before it's actually built. So we call it the as laid out. So basically, if you're using our projectors, most of the time globally on projects, the CAD file doesn't necessarily fit the reality, right?
Hmm.
So you'll be able to do layout. And at some point, if a plumbing sleeve doesn't fit into a wall, you will be able to move that wall so you can see it as a live AutoCAD into your project. And every modification is documented. And at the end of your job, you're able to export your file as laid out. And therefore, you're able to provide that to the other trade contractors as well. So if you're on site after the construction, you're also able to gather the as-built information, but not at the same resolution as a 3D scanner. Otherwise, it would increase the cost of our hardware for not adding much more value to the end users.
Let's talk.
That's
Let's talk about. Oh, Dustin, sorry.
no,
if
that's
you want
just
to
really
follow
cool.
on. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. So, like a hypothetical situation, let's just say the superintendent's like, oh, the layout's butting against something, and can it direct the machine to do and he just redirects in the field. How does the machine, how do you instruct the machine, move this over 3 inches?
So you need to have the user input for sure. So
Okay.
basically, you have a tablet. The projector is composed of three main platform. You have the cloud application that you're able to import your CAD files, publish them to your teams, and then get on the job site. Then you have your tablet and your projector. The users on site will have the tablet and the projector. So on the tablet, you have a modification mode. You're able to select the walls you want to move, select the distance, orientation, and apply the modification. And then the modification will be applied with the projector right away. So it's always a user input. Yeah.
So
Patrick, did you ask your question? Did I just completely miss that?
No, I
No.
want to talk about the hardware. I'm in love with the hardware.
Yeah.
But perhaps before we go there, Martin has something more on the point we just discussed.
Okay, so Dusty Robotics has this layout robot.
Yep.
Are you competing with this solution?
Not just
or
them. There is others as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
so-
multiple.
yeah,
In Japan, there's a lot as well.
How different your solution is? Obviously, it's not a robot that like walks and makes marks, but like, can you talk about like differences, pros and cons of both?
Of course, yes, of course, and I really love the team at Dusty. So bear with me. They're a great team. They build a great product as well. I think it's for different applications. Some applications will overlap, and that's for sure. But we see more partnerships opportunities with Dust Robotics or HP Side Prints or other printers than real competition. So first and foremost, printing robots are super useful when you have warehousing, right? Large space that are clean, and then you're able to have your robot that moves around and print your layout on floors. Having this on apartment projects can be a little bit more complex because you have a bunch of materials, garbage in the way, you have people, equipment is moving, so it's less flexible on the job site. And second, it cannot really project on the ceiling, where this is one of our core function, right? About 70% of the layout market happens on the ceiling, MEP, mostly MEP, right? But sprinklers and so on. So ceiling application is super important. And then third, uh, you need to be flexible in terms of like moving your layout as well. So it's not every contractor that is super BIM performant and that they have done a 3D scan of the environment before they come in with their workers. So you need to go on site and adapt your layout, and this is the tool that we offer. And the adaptation needs to be documented. That's super important. Well, as with a printer, you'll need to reprint, and then it can create confusion. But for some environment, I think it's great. It's a great product.
So you say you're more flexible and for also smaller projects.
Yeah, well, multi-residential, commercial, institutional projects were quite strong because we're able to provide the hardware as a standalone product, right? The printer doesn't need the total station as well. We only have our projector. That's a standalone product. So yeah, you're able to have one worker that operates our projector on site, is able to do multi-trade layout, floor, ceiling, wall projection. So I think it offers more options than a printer. But again, in specific application, printer will be very good too.
And do you lease it or you sell it?
So we have a dealer approach. So we sell our hardware to dealers, and then the dealers sell and rent their products. Yeah. We also have a SaaS component. The dealer makes a profit on the SaaS as well. Yeah, so dealership is key in order to grow a hardware business. So for us, that was the way forward.
Is it cheaper or more expensive than a robot?
It's hard to be more expensive than the robot because you need to buy a robot, which is super expensive, and a total station as well. Or in the case of Dusty, you need to have a laser tracker. I don't know if you know what the laser tracker is, but we use it internally to calibrate our product. It's a product used in aerospace. It's about $200,000 just for that piece of hardware plus the robot. So no, we're much cheaper, which is more in the standards of the construction industry as well.
Let's talk about
Patrick,
your
you wanna
hardware,
go?
William. Yeah. So when I look at your website, at first I didn't notice, and then I had a second look, the one that we just shared. And I noticed, hey, hold on, there is no Hexagon logo, or there is no Faro logo, or there is no Trimble logo, there is no Zeiss logo, there's no Leica logo on any of this. There's only a Mechasys logo. So are you telling me this is your hardware? You design it, you engineer it, you manufacture it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly. So everything is done from us internally. So we have our optics
Wow.
team, mechatronics, mechanical, electrical. We have a full stack engineering team, plus the web, plus the mobile. Everything is custom to us. And we also manufacture our own product, right? Developing a robotic application that needs to be super accurate and of high quality. The manufacturing needs to be very close to the engineering, and for us, quality is part of our DNA. This is what we sell in our product, and you can feel it throughout the organization into whatever communication you will have from us. It will always be from the highest quality. So yes, we do the engineering and the manufacturing of our product.
That's a big challenge. And so I find that almost like among several other points that I find super interesting about your business, that's one of the ones that also pique my fancy here. Because you literally have in the sensor business, and your sensors need to be hyper accurate. You said you do point cloud as well as projection, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, wow. So, then you're competing really with sorry, and actually, one more question, William. At what distance are you like millimeter accurate? Is it like 5 meters, 10 meters? 30 meters.
It's 9 meter radius from the device that we provide 0 to 3 millimeters accuracy.
That is very
1/8
good.
of an inch for Americans. So yeah, and we can project further than this with less accuracy
Sure.
requirements,
Yeah.
depending on the application of the customers.
But then I think, correct me if I'm wrong. So I've looked at a separate hardware business that is not doing what you're doing, but it's like very hardware nerdy, optical specialists, etc. And so as part of that diligence, I got into this whole accuracy at distance in the whole how many photons does your lens get, etc. a little bit. So that's just for people why I'm not an expert. I just have a little bit of recent context. And so what I found interesting then looking at the alternatives, so when you're competing with like 0 to 3 millimeters, maybe in the middle 1.5 millimeters at 9 to 10 meters, the devices that you're competing with from Faro or Leica, they would cost you between 40 to 80,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, you will have total stations, which is I would say the status quo in the geospatial business. They can position equipment for further distance than this, up to like 1,000 meters or even more sometimes. But yes, this is the range of the the range of the price of the optical equipments. And then you have 3D scanners that are even more expensive than total stations. You can easily have a 3D scanner that is 80,000 US dollars, up to 100 even $1,000 for the piece of hardware. So we're lower than that. For us, our MSRP is $55,000. So we're providing like on the it's kind of like a high end of total station, but still within the ranges of the prices of the total station. So it's not a
that's
surprise
competitive.
for the customers. Yeah.
And look, I mean, sorry, I don't want to put words into your mouth, and I don't want to ask you, oh my God, how many sales have you? We don't do that on Bricks at Bytes here. We don't do that, okay? But I'm just assuming that you haven't even reached the full scale that you want to reach. So I assume you will still have some cost regression ahead of you. Is that right?
You mean in terms of cost reduction, or?
Yeah, exactly. Unit cost.
Yeah. No, we're like
volume.
at the beginning of the curve.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we have an entire project about BOM cost reduction, multiple other generations of products as well. So the product is evolving, and I think that's a good thing, right? It's mandatory. We're also improving our manufacturing process of that hardware as well. But yeah, we're launching several initiatives related to BOM cost reduction right now.
Okay. If you ever want to speak people in my network about both BOM cost reduction as well as manufacturing optimization for such a
You guys
hardware
might want to
product, send me a
explain
note.
what a BOM cost is, because
Sorry,
we
bill
have
of material.
people who don't know what you're talking about.
William, go for
Yeah,
it.
sure. So BOM stands for bill of material, right? All the parts of your product. This is key. And for a manufacturing business like mine and product business like mine, I mean, the BOM cost is one of the key driver of your operational performance or gross margins at the end as well. So it's okay to have a higher BOM cost at the beginning if you're able to drive traction. But at some point, you'll need to bring operational excellence into your business, and that goes by profitability, right? And the bill of material costs is one of the key drivers. So every hardware business that will go through scaling of their hardware, if they're able to prove that they have product market fit, the next step is BOM cost reduction, and that's mandatory for any
What is your
business to scale.
background?
Construction engineering. That's my background. I know very well the space. I know well the problem of the customers. But yeah, background is construction engineering.
Okay. William, if I pass by the device and I knock it just slightly, is it going to recalibrate itself or going to do something?
So it's not going to. We have two ways this can happen. Basically, if the machine is able to detect the movement and detect if it comes back to the same state. If this happens, the machine will blink and restart all over again without any calibration or whatsoever. But if you really move the instrument, right, and it doesn't come back to the same state, then you will receive a notification on your tablet that the machine has been moved, stop working.
And for the larger surfaces,
do you have a habit of knocking into machines on site?
Oh man,
we have customers that drop the units. I mean, this happens. It's still a construction site, right? Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it seems like when you've not been to a construction site for a very long time. And one more, if you have slightly larger surface area, can you connect 2 or 3 of those together and so can you connect 3 or 4 together and let them display the lasers?
Yeah, you can connect as multiple projectors as you want, but it's a financial decision for the customer at the end, right? We've designed the product to be super versatile and movable on your project. Setup takes only 3 to 5 minutes, depending how fast you are as a user. So make better sense for a user to have one device and move it around, right? Than having multiple projectors and buying multiple projectors. But if they want to, I'd be happy. And then, but they can. Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
All right, William. Very insightful. One to watch for sure. Very exciting. Super product.
I like it.
Love
Yep,
it that it's cheaper than the stuff out there. So that's great.
Yep. Well,
Cool.
thank you very much. Is there any other questions?
We have loads, but we don't have time. So.
All right. Well, if you want, you can reach me by email. No issues. If you're curious, I can take another
Cool.
moment.
All right,
Thank
William.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, man.
William.
Good
Thanks.
luck.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Very cool. Differentiated approach.
I mean,
we can
design,
submit-
engineer, manufacture, whole supply chain in an electromechanical hardware with optical components. That takes some guts.
It's really hard. I don't know if 25 million is. I would have raised more money. It's a
Yeah.
lot of highly technical people you need to employ.
Yeah. Let's get Dimitri in. Hey, Dimitri.
Hey guys,
What's going on?
good to see you. Yeah,
How are
long
you?
time no see. Great.
We had Dimitri on traditional. I don't know what to call the legacy format of Bricks and Bytes, but I'm working on it.
Vanilla.
Bricks and Bytes. Yeah, maybe like 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks ago. So the episode will be out
Something like
soon.
that.
Yeah. What's changed since?
We are launching a bunch of really cool things. I'm happy to nerd out about how we're using AI in more novel ways. Something that a lot of people have been talking about when it comes to LLMs and agents is context management. So it used to be, I think, called prompt engineering, and now people are talking about context engineering, and that's something that we've been really leaning into as well, because when you work on a construction project, and just a reminder, Handoff is a construction management software, estimating software for residential space specifically. We use agents, we use AI to help contractors create bids, proposals, manage their clients. And so anyways, now you're going to be able to directly manage the context of the conversation that you have with your AI agent as you, pursue an estimate or as you do something else. And you'll be able to switch on and off certain things that you want that agent to take into account. And I think that's something that for construction is very important, because you might have hundreds of pages of documents, tons of photos, a whole bunch of stuff that an agent could use, but it'll be confusing for a person, confusing for an LLM. And then this kind of gives you this context management or context engineering opportunity that a lot of our customers have been asking for. So the quick sneak peek, it'll be launched by the end of the year. It's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. So Dimitri, just explain that so I understand it. So you're able to if there's perhaps documentation or certain things within inquiry documents that people receive before they put their estimates in, you're able to, with handoff, tell handoff of the tool, the product, not to consider those documents within the estimates that you'll be helping them put together.
Yeah, think of handoff as kind of it's a sort of a repository of a lot of knowledge that takes place on a residential construction site. There's a contractor, you're going to show up, you're going to take a bunch of photos, maybe some videos, take some notes. We have a voice recording feature, so you can sit down with the homeowner and just have them explain their vision. Maybe the homeowner sends you some inspiration photos, some links to a supplier. And so all of that gets consolidated onto handoff. And then you have handoff to then ask, as your assistant, to then do stuff with that information. Some of the things that our customers do is they ask for, hey, create an estimate for me, analyze these plans, send a proposal, send an invoice, do a scope of work, do a material list, right? And there's different pieces of evidence, right, that agents could pursue. And our agent is quite smart and they can figure that out on their own. But if you want to really fine tune the outputs and make sure that this is, especially with something like estimating that can be quite nuanced, you can now do that, and you can toggle these specific context management switches on and off so that the agent gets exactly the information that you wanted to see.
Mm.
And what
When you say
contractors?
residential, what do you mean by residential?
Small,
Um,
medium, or very large residential?
Yeah, at least here in the United States, there's not a lot of very large residential. I guess there's, of course, folks who do, 100 plus, homes at a time, kind of, track home builders. But for the most part, residential construction is just small builders, right? It's SMBs. What we focus on mainly is remodelers. So, folks who do, maybe a few $1 million in revenue per year, which I would say compared to commercial construction is quite small. In residential construction, if you're doing a couple of million per year, you're in a good spot. It's very highly localized, and we do some new home construction as well, custom home construction additions and things like that. So this is a typical customer that we service.
How do you find this small, medium companies, contractors being willing to pay for technology? Like, what tricks do you use here?
Yeah.
Tricks.
If any, I mean, if any.
We
Love
lured
it.
them in. We lured them in with a great value proposition. That's our main trick, I would say. Well, so so here's what we learned. And we've been working on this for many years. And what we found is that with the residential construction companies, you're selling to a small business owner. And the life of the small business owner of residential construction company is it's pretty difficult. Like I don't think a lot of people realize that. Actually, I was just talking to, a home builder, pretty successful home builder, does a few million a year, and the kinds of things that they have to deal with is, like neighbors that just completely hate them because they're creating all this noise in the neighborhood, dealing with the city, dealing with the clients that are cranky. This one has to deal with a squatter that's currently in the house and like police, and it's just like gets show up to the place with a baseball bat, just to be sure. And
I've heard
and
similar stories. I can definitely vouch for this.
It's running a sophisticated business. Like it's not like it's just just two guys in a truck. It's like a real thing. So that's residential construction for you. It's not like a bunch of people sitting in an office, like working on spreadsheets. And of course, that's not all that happens in commercial construction. Of course, there's a lot of it on site, but you have a lot of you have a big team. If you have a larger commercial construction company, you have a big team supporting you, right? And that's not the case in residential. In residential, you do everything yourself. You're always short on labor. You're always short on resources. And so for these guys, for the residential folks, they don't have like a true kind of like a Procore level product that is just like a no-brainer, like they absolutely need to use. But what they really need is this like labor help, is like assistance with tasks. I need to quickly create an estimate. I need to quickly, put together a scope of work. I need to send a material list to my pro desk rep, right? And so like all this is just labor, right? And so who's going to do this labor for them? It's just the owner. Like they just work, 3 jobs basically at the same time. And so for them, when they see handoff and when they hear about AI and when they hear about sort of some of the things they can do, it's a really attractive value proposition because they're like, wow, like I can triple my team right overnight. And what we do is like, how do we get them in? Is you just want to be super simple. We actually have this rule we call it simple maxing with a double X. As it is in the meme culture these days. But and we just try to simplify it as much as possible for them. Like you get in within 5 seconds, you can get an estimate done. You can get something that you need to be taken off your plate. So lead with value, create a simple product. Don't overcomplicate it. Like don't make them jump through too many hoops. Like they're smart people, they can figure it out. So I think that's kind of the approach that we've taken that has worked for us well so far.
And isn't my impression correct that you mostly focus on the financial part of the project management, maybe into really like invoicing or estimates, yeah? or that's not only this?
Yeah, I would say our secret sauce is really in estimating mainly. This is where we started, and this kind of where we planted our flag. We've been collecting this super detailed pricing data, project data, construction knowledge, construction code principles. So like all of that has been aggregated into this taxonomy, the data set that we've been building for many years. And so we're really the best in the world at knowing what things cost in construction and sort of putting those costs together into something that makes logical sense, like a budget. That's the underlying kind of like infrastructure behind of what we do. So kind of estimating is really where we get in. Estimating happens to be also the most painful thing that we hear contractors typically complain about in the residential space. From there, though, you get to do a bunch of other things within handoff. You can manage your projects, you can create tasks, you can build documents using AI as well, or manually if you'd like. You can do scopes of work, material lists, subcontractor invites. You can issue invoices. We completely revamping our invoicing product as well. You can accept payments. You can issue consumer credit. Soon you're going to be able to manage your leads pipeline as well within handoff. So contractors like to have an end-to-end product to just do it all. Like that's just how this industry is. And so we are the best at estimating. We're amazing at data, but we also provide them like this end-to-end toolkit as well on top of it.
Very cool. Dimitri, I sent you a post that we were debating earlier on here, and the premise, the underlying theme of that was that companies should be, if they're building agents, then they should also be owning the data set that they're building agents on top of. As someone who is actively doing this, do you have any thoughts on not the statement that I just made, but that post generally, and maybe then as it relates to handoff and what you're doing?
Yeah, that was a cool announcement by Procore, right, about their new AI product. I think they call it Helix. Frankly, I'm not surprised. Procore has always been very strong from the technology standpoint, product standpoint. I would say they probably do move slower than some other companies, especially startups. But it looks like when they do want to build a product and they want to invest in product, they do that. I think the jury's still out if this is going to be such a huge, game changer for all the new entrants. Like, I think we're in a different position because we operate in a space where there is no Procore. Like, we don't have, if we could have something to tap on top of, maybe we would have, but we have to just figure everything out ourselves, like both the data, and the UX, and the go-to-market, and all of that. So we're kind of creating that product for the residential space. When you're in commercial space, Procore is obviously the dominant player. I think you have to play ball with it. Now, I think what the assumption is for a lot of startups that are building, and then you have on the, you have the, Procore side, with kind of construction, AI, like AI tools that integrate with Procore. And on the other hand, you have AI tools that integrate with Service Titan in a very similar kind of way, but they more deal with like call answering. That's been very popular recently, like, customer service agents that are just AI, picking up the phone. And I think assumption with those has always been, well, we're going to start with this wedge, aggregate, we'll pick up off of Procore, aggregate their data, and then we build their other features so that we can eventually reach feature parity with Procore or reach feature parity with Service Titan, right? I think the problem is now Procore basically blocked that path, and it said, sure, you can build your AI agent, and we can we can sort of like allow you to use our API even. But for that path where we just kind of going to keep on edging up into like full end-to-end functionality that Procore offers, I think is now a lot more difficult. I think that's what creates a lot more risk right now. I don't know if it's going to be a total killer of all of the startups that are integrating with Procore and providing AI features. I think there's probably still value that can be derived that is more unique than what Procore can do. But it definitely creates, I think, a bit of a risk in terms of like, will that strategy work out, and will it be able to go all the way and replace Procore, by piggybacking off of Procore's data?
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
In the residential space, isn't Buildertrend pretty well used? I thought they have like 30 or 40,000 builders using it.
Yeah, that is a good point. That being said, there are, I think there's 1.2 million builders in the United States in residential construction. So it is a drop in the bucket. I think maybe within Buildertrend's target market, which is a little bit more specific, maybe on a little larger size, about 600,000 companies. And so I wouldn't say, I mean, I would say that they're the more known one, but I wouldn't say that they're like a clear, like majority of the market sort of holder.
Cool. All right, Dimitri. Thanks for coming. Any final closing words?
No, really good to see you guys. Nice to see you, Dustin, and then always, very
Always.
much inspired by the work you've done. Also, I think at some point we caught up by email, and you had a chance to invest in handoff, but I don't think you taken up that chance. So I just wanted to say.
Is this a pitch to write a check?
No, I just wanted to say our valuation was much lower at that point.
You win some, you lose some.
That's just
Wait. No, to reflect back, I don't think I could have invested at that time.
I think so. Yeah,
There was a window where there was a window where I could not invest in. There's been several windows where I can't invest, and then sometimes the windows close, and I write some checks, and sometimes they reopen. But yes, if I remember correctly, I was under a window. I think that was the reason why.
No, fair enough. And I just wanted to say, the product and company you built was always huge inspiration, I think, for everybody who's in construction tech. So just honestly, good to see it.
That's the short form clip for this episode. Thank you, Dimitri.
Enjoy.
Screw you, Dustin. You missed out.
That was good.
I'll see you guys
That was
later.
great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dimitri.
Thanks, Fred. Oh, that was funny.
Win some,
Fair
you
play.
lose some.
Very good. Okay, Patrick, I think you need to head off, right?
I do, but you guys keep on cracking.
Cool.
Let's get Tiago on. Bye, Patrick.
All right. Cheers, guys. See you next week.
Bye bye.
Take care. Yeah, I think maybe Tiago missed the. Maybe he got held up something.
Speaking
but
of
we will
the
definitely
stories of builders, contractors having tough life, I recently went to a project, 4.5 million flat in central London, and this developer done this flat beautifully. There was a lady living below, and every single time the developer went into the flat trying to sell to a potential customer, the lady was turning the radio on like full, and I went for an inspection there, and and she's done that as well, and
Nice.
he reminded me of this tough life of small builders.
Yeah.
It's a really hard life.
Yeah.
The selling to residential contractors is so hard. Like it's just so hard.
I mean, the value needs to be instant, and you've seen straight
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
I'm sure his tech is phenomenal. There's also a million startups. Like I
Somehow
could
you
name
miss it.
5.
Somehow you miss
I
it.
can name 5 off the top of my head that have very similar approaches to that space. It's just really, really hard to a lot of the GCs that don't use Buildertrend are small. Like I built an ADU. Literally, the guy walked the site and he goes, "How does 400K sound?" And I said, "Sounds a little high." Okay, 375. Okay. Like that was
Yeah,
his
they're not
estimate.
tracking. As long as they're in the green, each month, like the money in is not as bad as the money going out, or maybe it is, but maybe the next month makes up for that. That's kind of
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
just
runs.
saying, like, there's a huge swath that's their estimate. They sit with an owner, they got just the floor plans, they got a permit set, and then we just agree on a deal, and it gets done.
Well, the funny thing to use was like in London here was you'd have those conversations. You'd go to the meeting, you had the conversations. You see the bus drive past. The number on the bus was the number of your estimate. Oh, look, there's a 93. 93K. We'll do the job for you.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it was a situation where I knew the contractor. He had done work for some of my friends, so it was like, this is how I do business. I come in here, one lump sum. You won't get a single change order from me. I know what it takes to build in this area, and this is the quality of the product. He showed me things. I'll do it for this number. Like, well, that sounds really easy.
Talking of unfortunate small contractors as well, I was involved in a job maybe a year or so ago, and it was a beautiful, nice, new, complete internal refurbishment of a townhouse in Fulham. And Fulham, for people who maybe not understand, is like a very desirable place to live within London. Nice houses, high real estate value, and so on. And the job had finished, and in the top floor of the flat, maybe 3 or 4 floors, sorry, of the apartment, 3 or 4 floors, house, townhouse. They have these like push fittings on plumbing. So but what they do is when you're connecting a pipe to another length of pipe, you put these like they call it like push fittings that you put in. But you have to put them in right, and they basically like crimp on to the end of the pipe to like make the seal watertight. Anyway, one small pipe fitting, the crimp wasn't quite tight enough. The entire pipe in the top of the house burst, and there was flooding all the way down. It's brand newly developed to a high standard. Like, it was awful. It was so bad. How one small little thing like that, and their insurance must have gone berserk. Hey man.
Wow. Wow.
Nice
at all. No bueno.
On that note, shall we wrap up?
I guess so. I wanted to see Tiago.
What happened to Tiago?
Yeah, Tiago, where are you, man?
He's
not good.
He's busy, battling
Procore.
people. Procore, apparently.
Maybe the inevitable happened and Arvind was correct.
Procore and their AI Death Star.
Yeah, the laser hit him whilst he was in Germany last night. He couldn't make it. Yeah.
I hung out with Tiago at Groundbreak. I hung out with both Tiago and Sarah. Sarah actually threw a happy hour there. It was good. But
hey man, it's interesting. The arena is heating up. There's like lots of interesting stories coming out about Procore, Data Grid, Trunk Tools. They're in the thick of the.
Hey, construction
PR
tech is interesting
headlights.
right now. There's a whole bunch going on. Bunch.
Yeah.
No one knows what to make of it.
Apart from us. Cool. All right, guys.